Hello, everyone. It's great to have you here today. I'm Mahashri, Marketing Analyst at Zoho Analytics, and I'm joining you from Chennai. At Zoho Analytics, we provide a comprehensive analytics offering with an ever evolving range of modern day analytical capabilities. We seek to constantly enhance your analytics experience by introducing useful features from time to time that offer more firepower to analyze your data. And in that context, we're back now with another webinar on what's new in Zoho Analytics for the third quarter of 2022. In this webinar, we'll discuss some sought after new features and enhancements launched into the product during the previous quarter. And we have you covered on various fronts like data import, analytics, and collaboration. So let's get started with the agenda for today. So, firstly, we'll discuss the category of updates that we have for you. So, this is basically the various fronts in which we've brought updates. Then, we'll move on to the main discussion of the day, that is, what's new in Zoho Analytics in Q3 2022. It would then be followed by a quick summary, which is a quick recap of all the topics covered in the session, and we'd head straight into an interactive Q&A. So, without further ado, let's get started with the category of updates. So we have here broadly categorized updates as data import, modeling, analytics, UI UX and collaboration, and finally, admin. Now we'll be getting into each of these categories and exploring all the updates in detail. But for the sake of those that are new to Zoho Analytics, let me quickly tell you about who we are and what we do. So, Zoho Analytics is a self service BI and analytics platform. We started out in the year 2009 and are among the pioneers in the self service BI space. Today, Zoho Analytics enjoys the loyalty of 14,000 plus customers and over 2 million users across 150 different countries. The platform enables you to seamlessly import and blend your data from over 250 plus data sources. So, this could be files, feeds, local or cloud databases, and also popular business apps. Once you have all your data inside Zoho Analytics, you can visually analyze it with a plethora of pre built reports and dashboards to jumpstart your analytics. You can also create custom reports with the drag and drop interface or the ML powered AI assistant. The platform also offers more than 50 plus ways to visualize your data as charts like GeoMap or heat map, and also as pivot tables, dashboards, and widgets. Over and above that, we facilitate effective collaboration through our data storytelling capabilities. Zoho Analytics is tightly integrated with Zoho Show, which enables you to live stream your reports and dashboards in the form of slideshows or presentations. You can also opt for the purpose built analytics portals that allow you to publish your reports and dashboards as a microsite and share it among your stakeholders. So, with that introduction on Zoho Analytics, let's move on to explore what's new in data import. So, as I've already mentioned, Zoho Analytics allows you to import data from a wide range of data sources. And we're constantly looking to add more data sources to this list to make the platform data agnostic. So, in that context, let's first look at a couple of new business apps that we've set up integrations with in the previous quarter. So, we've onboarded Teamwork CRM, Smartsheet, and Zoho Commerce as new connectors in the platform. Advanced analytics for Teamwork CRM empowers you by providing deep sales analytics over your CRM data. The integration with Smartsheet enables users to efficiently monitor and manage the execution of their projects. And finally, advanced analytics for Zoho Commerce helps you manage your online store effectively and market it with ease. So, along with these integrations, we provide 100 plus connector specific pre built reports and dashboards for you to jumpstart your analytics. So, we've already done the research work and have found domain specific or industry specific metrics for each of these connectors and provide a range of reports for each of these connectors so that you can track these metrics with ease. Additionally, you can also create custom reports to suit your specific needs and use cases. Another widely used capability is cross functional analytics or data blending, where you can blend data from different data sources into Zoho Analytics to be analyzed as a single report. The platform also enables you with domain trained AI and ML capabilities to better extract data insights. So, moving on, I thought I'd show you a sample dashboard for Teamwork CRM. So we've embedded a dashboard over here. So usually you'd see that we have a snippet of one of our dashboards, but today I thought I'd embed it here for you so that you can view all the reports clearly and also have the ability to interact with them. So as you can see, this is an overview dashboard, which is one of our pre-built dashboards for Teamwork CRM. And this is a tab dashboard where we have different tabs, as you can see on the top left-hand side corner for sales, products, salesperson performance, and customers. So under the sales tab, you'd see that we have some sales specific metrics like the deals won, the won amount, and so on. They can be represented as widgets lined up over here on top, or even as pre-built reports like the deals won amount versus lost monthly trend, opportunities pipeline, leads pipeline, and so on. So similarly, by switching tabs to products, I can view some product specific metrics like the number of products sold monthly trend, the sold growth percent, and so on. So, likewise, we also offer sample or pre-built reports and dashboards for our other business app connectors like Zoho Commerce, Smartsheet, and so on. So with that, we'll move on to the next update. So we looked at some new connectors that we've onboarded into Zoho Analytics, but we're also constantly trying to bring enhancements to our existing connectors. And here are some quick updates from the previous quarter. So, advanced analytics for the Zoho Finance Suite now supports importing data from multiple organizations. Premium users and Zoho One subscribers can sync up to 25 organizations, while the enterprise users can sync up to 100 organizations. For Zoho projects, we have two enhancements. The integration now supports task issue mapping. So, this allows you to map your tasks with the associated bugs for you to be able to easily create reports over them. We've also introduced the tags module that helps you analyze or add relevant descriptive tags to various reports in your Zoho projects integration for you to be able to better analyze them and streamline them. Advanced analytics for Zoho Recruit now supports synchronizing the referral module data as well. So, with that, we looked at data import and we saw how you can import data from a wide range of data sources. The next step after import is to model your data to a suitable format for analysis. So, that brings us to our next stop, that is modeling, where we'll cover features that help model your data effectively and easily. So we'll now look at two key enhancements that we've brought in this regard. So firstly, the query table now supports some new functions to easily convert the data type of your data column. So now let's say that you have some sales data in pounds. So when you have this data in your query table, you'd probably want to improve your readability by representing this data with the pound symbol instead of just numbers. So you can do that easily by using the toCurrency function that converts the column to a currency. And you can also choose from 50 plus currency notations that are available in Zoho Analytics. 2% again converts the data type of your column to percentage. ToDecision box converts Boolean values like 0 or 1 to yes or no. So for instance, 0 or off would be converted as no, and 1 or on would be converted as yes. So similarly, ToPositive integer converts the values in your column as a positive number. So these functions make it easier to model your data to a suitable format for analysis. Now let's check out where these functions are located in the product with a small demo video. So as you can see, under the SQL Functions tab and under General Functions, you can find these data type conversion functions over here, like toCurrency, ToDecision box, toPercentage, and toPositive integer. Moving on, Another important update that we've introduced is the introduction of the data type, which is duration. So it is introduced for you to keep track of your time related metrics like the amount of time taken to complete tasks, projects, or the time taken to close deals or tickets. It essentially gives you the difference between a given time and another and can be represented with units like days, hours, minutes, and so on. As you can see in the screenshot here, you can choose from a range of formats in which you can represent your duration values or even enter a custom format as well. This data type supports various aggregate functions and also comes with a set of formula functions specific to the data type to make the operations easier. And with that, we've wrapped up modeling and we'll move on to the next category, that is analytics. Now, analytics comprises of various capabilities to improve data analysis and visually present insights. Visual insights or visual analytics helps users consume great volumes of data in a lesser time. So, improving this would improve operational efficiencies and also help you reach faster decisions. We'll now explore a number of updates under this category that we've launched during the previous quarter to improve your visual analytics experience. So, firstly, we've introduced the trendline capability, which is now supported for reports with the color column. So, we'll take a closer look at what this capability is with a small demo video. So, as you can see, we have the bugs closure monthly trend given over here, which is also supported by a trend line that smoothens out the fluctuations in your trend and presents the underlying trend. So, I may want to analyze this data based on the severity of my bugs. And in that case, I'm just going to click on Edit Design and add the severity to the color column. So, you'll see that once I do this, I get two different trends in my report with that is being represented with two different colors and gives two different severities of my bugs. So previously, trend lines were not supported when we had a color column in the report, but now you can see that we have two trend lines for my severities, critical and major, supported in the same report. Moving on, Zoho Analytics now supports the time slicer as a timeline filter in dashboards. So we'll check this out with another video. So as you can see, this is my dashboard. The overview sales, this is actually the overview dashboard that we looked at a couple of minutes ago. So when I click on the timeline filter, I get this time slicer where I can filter out my data based on years, quarters, months, weeks, and so on. I can also set the time period that I want to filter out. And let's say that I just want to look at my data for this year so far. So I'm going to filter it out from Jan 2022 to October 2022. And let me select September as the month isn't over yet. So once I do this, you can see that the data is filtered out and is reflected across all my widgets and reports. So this is the timeline filter or the time slicer that we've introduced in the product during the previous quarter. Next, we have introduced an option to set the compact width in pivot and summary views. So this is nothing but the width of your columns in reports. As you can see in this video, we have a number of columns and we'll have to scroll sideways to view some of these columns. Now to improve readability, I can go to settings and select compact. And once I do this, you'll see that my columns are more tightly packed and it also saves up on the horizontal space. So with this, I can better read my values and I needn't scroll sideways to look at my entire report. Moving on, the platform now allows you to hide empty columns in pivot and summary views. So you can find this feature under the show or hide feature given in all your reports. So when I click on it, I can select columns and at the bottom, you can see that there's this checkbox with empty columns. So I can either choose to show my empty columns or not show them. So this is for me to decide what data gets represented on my reports, and also to ensure that my data insights are presented in a better way. Another quick but rather interesting update is that Zia Insights is now supported in Spanish. So, Zia Insights was one of the most sought after or powerful features launched in Zoho Analytics 5.0. Since then, we've had customers make requests to offer Zia Insights in other languages as well. So, as a first step in this regard, we've launched Zia Insights in Spanish. You can check it out by clicking on language settings and choosing Spanish as your language. And once you do this, you'll see that the insights are represented in Spanish. Moving on, we've brought in an enhancement to ignore filters function as well. Now, for those of you that may not be familiar with this function, let me give you a quick brief. Now, you may have multiple filters applied over your reports, and while calculating aggregate functions over these reports, you may want to also include the data that's been filtered out. So, in these cases, you can use or choose to apply the ignore filters function that ignores the filters applied over a particular report while making aggregate calculations. So previously, this function was only available for user filters. So you could only ignore user filters. But now, with this enhancement, you can also ignore your design filters, user filters, or both. Moving on. So in this update, we're going to see that you can now choose to display your negative forecast values as 0. So as you can see, we've highlighted the feature over here in your forecast settings. The final and a quick update under the analytics category is that Zoho Analytics now supports a feature to specify whether the 1000 separator is in the form of the international numbering system or the Indian numbering system. And with that, we've covered all the updates under analytics and we'll move on to the next category. All right, so moving on to UI, UX, and collaboration. Our first update is that we've launched watermarks in the product while you export your dashboards as a PDF. So, this is to ensure better protection and ownership of your data insights. A small but functional update is that on the UI UX front, you can now select an entire folder in your Explorer and also have your folders included in the search results when you search for them in the Explorer. So, we'll check that out with a small video. So, as you can see, when I click on the folder, all my dashboards get selected along with it. And when I search for a particular word, I also have my folders reflected in the search results. So when I search for pipeline, you can see that my pipeline reports folder is given as a result. Moving on, folder hierarchy is now supported for the grid view in both the Explorer and the Reports Navigation tab. As a final update under the UI UX and collaboration category, a more informations dialog has been added to all the views in Zoho Analytics. So from now on, with a single dialog, you can edit or view various fields like the title, description, data source, dependency details, permalink, and so on. That brings us to our final category, that is admin. We have two important updates for you over here. So, firstly, you can now audit your API call logs. So, this allows you to monitor information like the API calls that were frequently made, API units consumed by action, and so on. An insightful API log analytics dashboard capturing all these essential metrics is also supported along with this update. You can check out the snippet of a sample dashboard that we've given over here. Secondly, you will also be able to use your unused users in your account as viewers. So previously, you needed to purchase viewers as a separate add-on license, but now you can simply use excess users license as viewers. So with that, we'll be moving on to the summary. We looked at various updates today on different fronts of Zoho Analytics. So under data import, we saw a couple of new business app connectors that we've set up integrations with in the product. We also looked at a couple of enhancements brought to our existing connectors. And moving on to modeling, we looked at a couple of query table functions that have been introduced to convert your data type. And we also saw that you can now have a new data type that is duration. Moving on to the next category, analytics, we had a couple of updates. So we looked at the trendline feature now supported for charts with the color column, time slices for dashboards, the ability to set compact width in tables, hiding empty columns in reports, Spanish, which is now supported in Zia Insights, ignore filters, representing negative forecast values as zero, and formatting your 1,000 separators by different numbering systems. Under collaboration and the UI UX category, we looked at watermarks while exporting dashboards as a PDF, folder hierarchy, folders included in search results, and the option to select an entire folder to improve your user experience. Under admin, we saw two important updates, which is the dashboard available for API call logs and the new update where you can use your Access users license as viewers. Thank you everyone for joining the webinar today. You can always write to us at support@zohoanalytics.com and learn more about analytics by visiting our website www.zoho.com/analytics. And you can also learn more about what's new in Zoho Analytics by taking a look at our release notes with the URL given over here on the screen. Thank you once again.